future, of building something, a legacy, something for ourselves, something for the next generation. So if you find yourself in a community, in a country where you feel your dreams are not being watered enough for them to grow, or you're not given the opportunity to expand, the opportunity to build, the opportunity to grow into your best self, what is the next thing to do? You start thinking out for other options, other avenues where you feel that your dreams can grow, you can build yourself into the person, the human being you want to be. And unfortunately, this has been the state of the Nigerian youth economy. Most of our youth, most of our able bodies, most of our brains are leaving the country in large numbers to seek for greener pastures. I'm talking about the engineer, I'm talking about the doctor, I'm talking about the nurses, I'm talking about the youth in particular leaving. And the sad part is that you will see a lawyer leaving Nigeria and then he will be a security somewhere in an European country. And he'll tell you, it's even better than me being a lawyer here in Nigeria. Why is that? Well, here to help me unpack this troubling trend is Mr. Enoch Seb Maxon. Yes, he's a regular here on the economy, especially on Wednesday as it pertains to the youth economy. Good morning, Maxon. How do you do? How are you? Mm. This how he always starts. Soft spoken. And so you get into the greater bit of the conversation and then you see the lion lying in wait too. Anyway, Maxon, thank you so much for coming to the studio. You look dashing, by the way. The Lord's doing, I like that. The Lord's doing. In everything we give thanks to God. All right, Maxon, as a youth advocate, as a youth yourself, you relate a lot to the youth. You work with the youth, relate a lot with them. What do you think is fueling this constant trouble or constant issues of leaving Nigeria to seek for greener pastures? Sometimes using very dangerous means just to leave Nigeria. Our situation, or is the situation in Nigeria this bad that the youth feel like, look, I need to leave to find my footing elsewhere?
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think that basically there is always a reason for migration. If people can be able to get a better life wherever they are, they wouldn't want to migrate to somewhere else. So for whatever reason or for whatever purpose youth or Nigerians are migrating from one place to another, it is all to seek for greener pastures or to seek for a better life somewhere else where they think that their rights, their interests, their lives are protected. Yeah. So basically, it is all the quest for a better life. All the quest for a better life. Nothing really much. Everybody wants to go to a place where they can get a better life for themselves, not just for themselves, and can be able to provide for their families and people around them.
Yeah, building a better life for themselves and the people around them. And that brings us to the question, the human capacity building. Do we have enough of that? Do we have a community, a system, policies put in place to build the capacity of the Nigerian youth, to make them grow to achieve their highest dreams, their highest aims, their high goals, whatever it is that they've set for themselves? Like, look, after school, I need to do this. I need to get here. This is my big picture. This is my small steps to take me to where I'm going to. But is the country conducive enough for this to happen?
Okay, so I'd like to say that nobody will leave his home if he's getting enough of whatever this place is offering him. So the purpose why people leave is because they are not getting enough of what they're offering here, including the educational sector.
Including the educational sector.
So if you come to realize that most of the persons who leave Nigeria at some point, one way or the other, left because they think that the educational sector did not offer them what they expect. You understand? So I don't think that in terms of building, education is part of capacity building.
Yes.
So in terms of capacity building, training skills, if you realize, for every little skill that is advanced, even if the company employs you, they'll send you out of Nigeria for that particular training.
Yeah.
It shows that we are not really equipped enough to be able to handle or to be able to give in our younger persons the skills, the required skills to man or to be able to be self-sufficient and independent enough to handle global because they are actually skills that are global skills that wherever you go you'll be able to have to catch up or to meet up with the trend. I don't think we are buoyant enough to handle that. And so our younger persons, when they see the opportunities to JAPA, like we say, they always take that because there, well, if you're trained, you are trained to meet or to match with the global trend or to match with you want the economy one way or the other. So I feel like we still have a lot to do, still have a lot to give, still have a lot to put in terms of trying to structure how the system, the economy, the educational sector, and in fact, every other sector is something that needs an overhaul so that people can be able to meet up, catch up with basic skills, basic education that are high standard. I was reading somebody yesterday, I realized that you were just talking about the particular, like in Nigeria currently, some university VCs send their children out of Nigeria, but they're VCs.
Yeah, but they are VCs of universities.
Yes.
Yeah, but
So
their own children are not schooling there.
So who are you issuing certificates for? Do you get? So all of them know that the educational sector in Nigeria cannot be able to meet up with global trend or is not does not weigh. Everybody knows, and that's why I see that the trend is people JAPA go to different countries, including our living standard. You understand? If you check if you check life expectancy for Nigeria, you realize that people living to JAPA because here I think it's a range of 40 between 40 to 50 years of and that's our life expectancy. Meanwhile, in other climes, other places, you are expected to live life from 70 to 80 and above like that. So why won't you live in places where you get basic amenities provided for you and you can be able to live life and comfortably and do things better? Yeah, you struggle for almost all of those things. You get, and that's why people find it very easy when they get the opportunity, or they find it like they take all through strenuous processes to leave the country so that they could be able to make a living. You are not assured of making it in Nigeria as easy as possible. You are not assured. But when people go out there, they feel like even the least security job they do pays them better and gives them a better life. That's how people live. But I would always like to say that people build places. Yeah, places don't build people build places. And so one way or the other, while we are living, we should also think of where we came from.
Exactly.
And also think of where we are going to. People build those places.
For it to be as conducive, yes, as it is. For you to want
enough for you to go there and work even the most menial job and
still be able to earn a good income.
Yeah, make a living out of it.
Oh, all right. So before we move on, let's look a bit at the human capacity, especially in the youth. Now, we do understand that, look, our educational system is not up to par, even though it has the possibility, has the potential to compete with any educational center or sector in any part of the world. But unfortunately, the will to improve, innovate our educational system is not there. But what other ways can we build the youth's capacity in terms of entrepreneurship mindset, in terms of leadership, in terms of critical thinking? Because I bet you, look, irrespective of how bad our country may look, if you place a Nigerian in the worst situation, they are always able to make something out of nothing. So we have what it takes mentally, we have what it takes emotionally, we have what it takes in grit, we have what it takes to build that. But what could be the reason why it's not happening? What could be restricting the capacity building of the Nigerian youth? So,
regardless of how you tend to avoid talking about leadership, you must always still boil down to
leadership.
Yeah. And the point is, it's not like it can't. You understand? But I see that there's a trend among developing countries or third world countries and their inability to be able to look into basic leadership challenges and then tend to sort it to give the younger generations a better life. So at the moment in Nigeria here, not like everything is bad. You get, it's a situation where if there's the willingness to be able to structure the nation in a way that can be able to match up with like young people will be able to get skills. The other day we came, I talked about the whole is it MIT or something?
Yes,
something
yes.
Yeah. 3MTC program and
yeah.
all of that. How long has it are those kind of programs been? So you will notice that they are not even sustainable enough to be able to accommodate younger persons into learning global skills. Yeah. So that's why people tend to see the in terms of capacity building, we have not like we are not trying, but we've not been able to really like go into deep in training younger persons in terms of skills, entrepreneurship, academically, and you get. So when people come out of schools, or when people learn skills and all of that, how well are they faring within the nation? Like you get.
Yeah.
All of these things drive people out of Nigeria.
True.
Because you think that you go to school and come back, you may not have a job, and the next thing you do is you travel out. Okay, even if you're traveling out to acquire a skill or acquire education, it's expected that when you're
done, you come back, and there should be job opportunities waiting
for you.
Yeah.
But you see that Nigerians would rather live wherever they are rather than coming back to Nigeria. Because why? Because they don't believe in the system here, and the truth is the system does not work for everybody here. If you don't have the connect or one link or the other, the system does not work for you. So you rather stay in where you have the opportunity. Maybe you can do one or two things together and you make a living and then be able to support yourself and your family. So basically, it's not like we can't. Like I always say, it's not like we can't. We can, but where's the willingness? The willpower to be able to rejig the system in a way that favors the younger generations. And when we complain of the economy going bad and all of that, it is because most of the best we have are no longer here.
Yeah.
They are living to seek for greener pastures. Almost every day, people are leaving the country in droves. So who will do the job when your best are leaving? So we have the skills, we have the people, but we don't have the opportunities like that for them to be able to stay. And so when they get the opportunity, they leave. And it's a challenge we face almost every day. But I think that the country can do better, the leadership can do better. In the states, not just
on the federal
level.
When
we talk of leadership, people look at the federal government alone. The state governments can also do better. The local governments can do better. They can train people. The local government can be able to build a skill acquisition center for the local government and train younger persons and then establish them. It's possible. But we look at all of these things like they're alien to our leadership system, and that's the problem. So everybody, when we talk about leadership, everybody wants to point at the federal government. It's not just about that. There's a reason and there's a purpose why we have the local government as government closer to the people, and then the state government before the federal government. So all trainings and empowerment and all of that should begin from the grassroots. So if you're able to train these persons and make provisions, if there are skills, then the next thing we should look at is, are there jobs, are there industries for people to be able to match up with the skills that people are getting? That's another thing. But I feel like not like the jobs are not there. But even if the company is there, the company would rather employ people who have the skills, maybe trained abroad or trained outside Nigeria. Because they feel like those persons are more qualified. The process is more sincere. The certificate issued are more open and sincere than what people get here. It's all boils down to the leadership, corruption and everything. So I think it's part of the challenges you're getting.
All right, so I want to open the phone line early today. I don't want last-minute calls. My last-minute callers, this goes for you. I don't want last-minute calls, so I'm opening the phone lines now. If you have any contribution to make, this is the time to 0813-554-2321, 0813-554-2321, 0912-863-0377, 0912-863-0377. And I want to ask you, listening to me right now, do you feel equipped enough to thrive in Nigeria's economy today? Do you feel equipped enough to thrive in Nigeria's economy today? Because according to statistics, over 3.6 million Nigerians have migrated in the last 5 years due to poor infrastructure, insecurity, unemployment, lack of upward mobility, professional dissatisfaction that we spoke about as well. So, what do you think? Do you think that, look, yeah, the situation is bad, but it's not as bad as we make it seem on the news? Look, yes, there's not enough employment, but at least we have a system whereby my entrepreneurship skills can amount to something. I still have something doing, actively doing that can make me relevant to society. Do you feel equipped enough? That's my question for you. Now back to the studio set.
Yeah.
Speaking about the emotional toll of migration. Look, home is home. No matter how terrible it is, it's home. You know that even if you don't have, let's say, 1 naira right now, by the time you call an uncle or auntie or you go to a friend's place, you have something to eat, you have something in your pocket. But when you travel, the emotional isolation, you're in a country that you don't know anybody, and we know how those systems operate. All man for himself, God for us all. Unlike the African system where a community, it takes a community or a village to raise a child. But still, the youth do not care. I don't want to say they don't care. I'm sure obviously they may have thought about this, but like nah, even if I would rather go and experience that than stay at home. The mental, what do you have to say about you're laughing about for real though. It's crazy.
Okay, so the truth is that is a whole lot. I speak to 50 friends oftentimes, like, so some of them will tell you I've applied to over 100 companies. I've been able to do this. I work so and so hours every day and all of that. And basically, if you're in Nigeria, you wouldn't work so like
Yeah,
that number of
exactly.
hours you get.
Different 3 shifts just to make up. And
Yeah.
we've not even spoken about the taxes,
The taxes,
the different
yes.
bills you're paying,
Yeah. So
gas,
so
heat.
most of the time when he tells me the cost he pays for rent, maybe not so big apartment, but the cost they pay for rent at some point, and it's always monthly. You'll be amazed at you get. So it's a whole lot. Sometimes it's traumatizing. You understand? It's draining at some point, but tell that particular person to come back home. They'll feel like you don't wish you
don't wish, yeah.
That's
or
just,
you hate it.
you hate them, yes, or you don't understand. That is just the truth. So people who live in Nigeria, or a lot of persons feel like they don't see anything positive about Nigeria any longer. Do you understand? So all they see and they think is that living in Nigeria will give them the opportunity, the life they want, the exposure, the experiences, and everything they want, to give them that visa to be able to travel around the world one way or the other. And so they can do anything possible, regardless of how emotionally they feel. They believe that one day everything will be all right and it will be fine. And so they go through all strenuous process, the pains. Nigerians are very strong people. You can hold forth to a particular thing here to the end. So they do all that to go to Europe, America, and other places to be able to seek for greener pastures one way or the other. And so it's not like it's not like it's something that I'm not really against anybody. That's just the truth. I'm not against anybody. Everybody has where they pursue. Even if you're in Nigeria, you have what you chase or what you pursue. But the quest, the processes. Do you know that some Africans pass through the how's it called? The deserts.
Yes, I'm saying some take dangerous routes. Yes.
Dangerous routes.
Yes.
To go to France.
Stowing away on ships.
Yes.
And sometimes, if you're unlucky enough, and it's a foreign ship, if they find you, they will just drop you in the middle of the ocean.
Or most times you are in prison. Like, a whole lot of Nigerians go outside Nigeria in quest for a better life, and they end up in prison. Some of them spend 12 years, like so many years, and then at the end of the day you get deported back home. So what is the stress you get? So I think that if you're not going out for something serious, or you don't have clear process, if you're not sure, you don't have clear process and all of that, you don't have the required skills and all that, it's better. Nigeria is better. You can here you can do 1 or 2 things and make a living. But outside Nigeria, you may not be able to do that 1 or 2 things.
You will not be so lucky.
You might not be so lucky. Do you understand? So it's the emotional or traumatic, the mental aspect of it eats up a whole lot of persons, but they won't tell you. If you're not close, they wouldn't tell you.
They wouldn't tell you.
Yes. So I think it's I'm a, well, it's well.
Yeah, because one would think that in a society or a country where we have the youngest population worldwide, like the largest youngest population worldwide, most of the policies would go towards that, will go towards building a conducive environment for these youth to thrive in. Because tell me why we will train for other people to benefit, especially in our health sector. Our health sector is in shambles. But we have Nigerian doctors out there doing marvelously well.
Yes.
But so what could be the so that means that it's not about even the individuals. The individuals have the skills, and if the right system is put in place, they would thrive.
So on most cases, on most specified skills, the individual have the skills. Like in terms of the medical sector, I think that will have a whole lot of doctors. And the truth is that you can't go through the academic process for five to
7, 9
7
years,
maybe
yeah.
9 years and all of that. And you come back and you're being paid meager amount of money at the end of the month. And if you see an opportunity, maybe somebody gives you a better opportunity, you leave.
But should it always be about money? I want to be the devil's advocate right now. I understand, but like, should it? Sometimes can't we be patriotic enough? Because look, these countries, the reason why
patriotism alone will not take care of your family.
I know, but
exactly.
Look, the reason why these other countries are thriving because they have very patriotic citizens.
They have patriotic citizens, and
very
they have,
patriotic,
and they have leadership who cares about them.
Fair enough.
Yes. So imagine you are being patriotic in your own way to be able to offer value and then serve a system that does not also care about whatever you do. You understand? Like, the system has been made for people to believe that they don't care about them. That's another thing. You could serve. I have a friend in the military. Every time we talk, I said, you will not understand.
And these are the people.
Almost every time we talk, he always tell me, you will not understand. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares about you. No matter how patriotic you tend to be, the system is porous enough to be able to make, like, it doesn't carry those who offer value along the way it's expected.
Okay, the way it's expected.
The way it's expected, you understand? So at the end of the day, you see that people put protest upon protest for basic salaries or maybe promotions, increments, and all of that. And then before you get to that promotion, to be able to, as a medical doctor, there's a lot of expectation. Your parents have put in a whole lot on you. To study medicine in school is not an easy job.
It's not an easy job, and it's not a cheap one.
Yes, a middle class person might likely not be able to train a medical doctor. And even if they have to go through rigorous processes, maybe borrows from one way or the other, go extra miles to be able to send you to school. And then at the end of the day, your family is expecting a return from you. And then when you come back now, you are working, but they are not getting anything. That's where the problem comes in. So most of the times, people are looking at they should be able to get something better, and when they are not getting that like the expectations are not met, they go where the expectations are met.
Will be met. Yeah.
Yes. So people have to move. People migrate. The purpose of migration is to be able to get a better life. If you go to the north, the reason why Fulanis or all of these people migrate from one point to another is because they also want to get a better life. If you go to a place where killings are happening, people leave that particular place to places that are peaceful because they want to get a better life. So the reason why people leave Nigeria or people leave African countries to Europe and America is because they want also to get a better life. Nobody has opportunity in his home and then decides to leave that particular place to say, okay, I want to go and experience life in another place when where you're going to will not offer you the expected or will not offer you as equal the amount your home will offer you. So basically, it's all boils down to the leadership and everything has not been able to provide the opportunities enough for people to be able to stay, and then the services they offer does not equate what they get in return. And so at the end of the day, people have to make
ends meet. They
Yeah.
have to, yeah. All right. If you're just tuning in, this is the economy, and today's section is themed youth economy, capacity building, and how to curb the JAPA syndrome currently facing Nigeria. My name is Antonia Asabil, and my guest in the studio with me today is Enoch Seb Maxen. He's a youth advocate, and he's giving us a better understanding of why the youth tend to leave the country. They don't want to. That's not. It's not like they don't want to contribute to the growth of Nigerian economy, but the right system have not been put in place for them to thrive in. They don't feel like, look, I've gone to school as a doctor. My family's resources have been used on me, and at the end of the day, I don't even get to bring anything back home. Now let's talk about perception shift, Maxon. Perception. Could it be that most of the youth see Nigeria as a failed system instead of a place to build? And that's part of the reason, or the major reason, why we have this Japa syndrome affecting us recently.
First, I brought a scenario here, like when the VC of a university sends maybe the student
own
out,
children
the
outside
student
of
out of
Nigeria to
Nigeria to
school.
school or to do their masters, or maybe a regular undergraduate program. What kind of perception is that? Is that kind of person passing? Is the VC passing? What kind of perception is the senator or the House Assembly member, the governor, the minister passing when they send their children out of Nigeria to school? The signal is that the education here isn't
Good enough.
good enough. That's why they are sending their own children, because they are the leaders. You understand? Whether you like it or not, they portray the image they want everybody to see Nigeria. You understand? So when they send their own family members or their own children out of Nigeria, what kind of perception do you want others to see? So anybody who has something, maybe something manageable to be able to afford a quality education or to be able to afford the children traveling out of Nigeria, they travel out. They send them out. That is the perception you get. It's already passed to everyone that our educational sector is not good enough. Skills are better off abroad than in Nigeria. The living standard abroad is better off than in Nigeria. So everybody, including you and I, sees that, okay, that place is better off than where we are. So if you have the opportunity, you either plan to leave, you understand, or send your family members out. At least one or two persons should be out. Yeah. So it's the perception that has been passed. Is for us to be able to change, there should be a change of mindset, or our leaders need to portray that they have the willingness to be able to change perception by also having their children in public schools. You get before now, it's easy for you to see maybe a House Assembly member's child in public school, your VC's son studying accounting in a public university in Nigeria, just like that. But no, it's difficult. There's a whole gap. Like, except you don't have the money to afford an overseas program, or maybe you don't know the process to go through for overseas scholarship and all of that, then you have to send your children to public schools in Nigeria. And then those who don't have the money, they send their children to public schools in Nigeria. But those who have...
Okay, let me quickly pick this call, then you continue, sir. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the economy on Wish 99.5 FM. Your name?
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Christian. How about you?
Yes, I think I'm very well.
Okay.
I think I want to make the point that the first port of call of every human being on earth here is your family,
Okay.
and not the larger society. And as such, that is why the mandate was given to us that we should train up our children in the way they grow. Now, when they grow, they will not the family. If we instill morals, instill consciousness of what it ought to be to our children, tomorrow when they become leader, they will stand in that foundation. It is not the leader that gives public morality. Because if a leader is not trained well in his home, he will come to the public and not even know what to do. So for me, let us even attack the family first. Because there is a lot of feeling in parenting and family. And when these people eventually come to become leaders, they don't do well because they were not given the right foundation. So like I said, we shouldn't be blaming anything on the leader. Because the leader that does not have a proper home upbringing can never be a good leader, can never set examples for other people to follow in the society. So that is for me the foundation.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you. So, Christian is of the view that charity begins at home.
Okay.
So, the foundation should start with the family because most of these leaders they start from somewhere.
Yeah.
If they are not being given the right training, they are not being led down the right path. If they grow up, they will be irresponsible leaders, quote and unquote.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, Christian. I beg to ask: is it that almost everybody who is in a leadership position actually wasn't properly trained in their families? It's not. It's not. The system has made it so that people once they get to that kind of life, they tend to think that outside is better. You understand? No matter how like okay, for someone like me, do you think I would grow up and I wouldn't want to send my children outside?
I don't know. You answer that.
I would.
You
Why
would.
would
I would. Yes. Because it's obvious that the educational sector is better off outside than what you get here. Because if you go to if you go to any of these institutions in Nigeria here, their VCs don't
The visits don't want. Just finish that sentence.
their VCs don't send their children to the public institutions here. So why would I send my children to public institutions here?
Okay. Hello. Good morning. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, let me just respond to what you have said.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends whose children are outside today, they are regretting. But the grass is not greener anywhere. There are people in Nigeria that are doing far better than the ones abroad, true or false.
True.
Academically or what?
It's not all about defending your children outside. The one you're sending them outside, is it not human beings like us that use? And I must tell you, check the foundation of most of these our leaders. They don't have good family background. Forget that they were maybe in their destiny, they will be now struggle through and become. If you have a proper foundation, when I tell you about peer group will not even influence. It was supposed to be when the foundation starts in the house, our religious houses should continue and all that. Can you imagine a pastor now we know in this country, even a politician, the pulpit of the Almighty, to stand and be talking about politics? That is not the right way to go. So when you talk about proper offering, I tell you, most people will tell you they have. It's not true because you only give what you have. You can't give what you don't have.
Okay. Well noted. Thank you, Christian. So you only give what you have, you can't give what you don't have. So does that mean that Nigeria is only giving what it has and does not have any more than this to offer?
Exactly.
You think?
If you go by that, I don't think from when we started. Remember I said here that it's not like everything is as bad as
It
you
seems,
think.
yeah.
Do you understand? Because most of the persons who are outside Nigeria are not even living as expected. You understand? It's not, but they wouldn't. Nobody will tell you. You get. But overall, the perception created, and like I was trying to draw a scenario that those who created the perception are those who are ahead. You understand? Because almost everybody wants to send the children out of Nigeria. It's either for academic purpose or for security purpose, one way or the other. So they feel like it's better off there than here. So if those who are ahead of you, those who are taking care of, those who are leading you, those who are making policies to your favor, do not have their children in Nigeria, they don't spend their holidays in Nigeria, or they don't have their workers maybe are not Nigerians, do you think that you will be able to get something out of? You know, that's the perception created to the general public, and that's why everybody wants to JAPA. Everybody who has a little amount of money, they believe that when they get out of Nigeria,
Things will be better.
Things will be better. They get a better life. You know, you get, and they are able to send something back home to their parents or their family one way or the other, and that is the problem. It's not about me. Are we going to blame every family that they couldn't train their children well? That's why their children get into leadership positions and begin to misbehave. System has a way of making things harder for everybody. You understand? So only one person might not be able to come into a place and then tend to change the whole system. It takes a collective effort, and that's why a whole lot of persons have been elected in public offices or appointed in public offices. But when these people go there now, the first they think of themselves before they think of you, or they think of the general public. So if, like I said, they can be thinking of a particular way, will you not also think of how you can better the lot of yourself and your family as well?
Well, good question, and I'll leave that question to linger in the air and in your minds. Let's reflect on that. Yes, so while you're reflecting, I'm drawing the curtains close because that's where we end the youth economy today. Sir, thank you so much for coming into the studio. Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so this has been the Youth Economy on Wish 99.5 FM, Nigeria's business radio, where your wish is our mandate. My name is Antonia Asabil. And before I leave, I want to say it takes a collective effort to build a stronger and a better nation. The other countries did it, and that's why today we get to travel there and enjoy the dividends. So let's do more, let's do better in our own little way. Again, my name is Antonia Asabil. Up next is the Parliament with Chris the Main Man. Please don't go anywhere.